That's a good start, everyone. Welcome to our special kind of masterclass here today. Uh, Moin. Do you know how you can recognize someone who's actually from Hamburg and not just saying he's from Hamburg? He wouldn't say moin moin because that's too long, right? So, moin to our special kind of late night show. Oh, not that bad, I would say. Anyway, we have prepared something just in case. You know that from some TV shows, maybe. So I have this sign, and if I pulled it up, then because you have the headphones, right? So just to make sure, then I ask you to give a warm round of applause. So let's give it a try. Welcome to the IBM Mike's Late Night Show. Perfect. Who was the person screaming? Was it you? Okay, so I have another one for you. So you will be my assistant tonight. You will give an extra prize later on for this. So we have something prepared for you, something very special. We have a few guests coming up as well. But you know, before we start, how do you feel? Some of you look a bit tired, maybe after yesterday night. Maybe that's also the reason why we have some free seats here. By the way, please keep these 2 seats free because Ashton and Quentin are supposed to come every minute. So we will make it as entertaining and active as possible. So maybe you'll wonder why we changed the title of the session, because you know it's the last session of OMR in terms of masterclass. So we make it a bit entertaining, interactive, of course informative. And I also like to recommend you that you should pay attention because we will do a quiz at the end. And we will have some great prizes. For the quiz, you don't need to come on stage, no worries. But you need to have your smartphone at hand. So we do a kind of a Kahoot quiz. Maybe someone of, oh yeah, all digital guys here, they knows how this goes. Okay, so by the way, these papers are not the prizes here. We need this for the exercise. So don't put it too deep in your pocket. You can do that after the session. So let me tell you a little bit about my last good experience. It's all about experience here in this session, right? So one good experience I had here at the festival is this little thingy here. What do you think? You like it? I remember times when you have to pull out cash every time, and you can also check all the time, you know, what the current budget status is. But also I spoke to the head of digital from OMR, and he told me that it's also very important for them. Of course, they know exactly where you are, what you watched, and how long you partied last night, right? So that's a good thing for a physical experience, but I also had a bad thing. Some of you maybe have seen the lockers. There are lockers available to everyone. The only thing you need to do is buy a little lock for €2. And then you can lock, you put everything in, so it's a regular key. But they forgot to tell you that if you don't empty the lock at midnight, they will cut it open, take everything out, and bring it to the lost and found. So I found out last night when I left, my colleagues were still partying. So I need to call everyone, tell me, you know, before you leave, you better take your stuff out. So anyways, I think I spoke to them this morning. They will work on it. So great experience is today's topic. But so thank you everyone for applying for the masterclass. Designing an experience is complex, right? And what we're going to do today is we have 3 guests, and we will talk about 3 different dimensions of how to create digital experiences or experience at all. So one from the business perspective, from design and the creative process perspective, and the tech perspective. And so we will have them on stage, do a little presentation, then we do a little Q&A. You can also ask questions. And then we will have the next guest coming up. So we will also filming all this here, just in case you don't want to be filmed because your boss thinks you're working. Then be a bit cautious here. Good. So let's start with my first guest. My first guest is a man who came all the way from the capital of Germany. I learned today he took a another route via Düsseldorf today. But anyways, he's half Canadian, playing the drums in his spare time. He's an expert in digital transformation. He's leading our digital strategy team in our IBM iX studio in Berlin, managed complex digital projects for international clients. And we will hear the answer on the question. We have 99 expectations. Why does experience matters? Please welcome on stage, Jan Pilar.
Hello, this is really cool to be here. It's really weird because you're all wearing headphones and I hear myself, but everything's really quiet. And it's so cool to be back at something like this. I heard it's 70,000 people here at OMR for 2 days. It's crazy. We've all been locked up at home and suddenly it's like full on amazing. So really good to be here and very happy to share some thoughts on experience. Why do we think it matters? What are some of the trends we see? And yeah, let me kick it off. A core belief of ours is good experience is good business. It does pay off to invest in experience. Why is that? Obviously, because people, customers are willing to pay more. They tell us that every time. If I get a great experience, it's not just a product, the whole interaction with the company before buying, at the point of sale, after buying is fantastic. I'm willing to pay more. They also tell us, if you don't deliver a great experience, I will leave and I will tell all my friends on social media about it. So there's a real risk of not investing, and there's a lot to be gained by investing in experience. And this has accelerated, and this is especially, there's a catch to it, because delivering great experiences is becoming more and more difficult and more complex. And the pandemic we're just crawling out of has just increased this pressure. Because we all have, I don't know, even my grandparents are now using digital services. They had to for a lot of stuff in their life because they couldn't go outside. We are all now paying with credit cards everywhere. I remember 2.5 years ago, at a lot of small stores, I was like, no credit cards. Now it's no problem. So we basically shaved off a couple of years of the adoption curve, and that obviously raised the bar of what we want everywhere. And also, it gives less time to companies, to brands of delivering these experiences, because we have seen the good, we've seen the bad, we've seen the ugly, and we only want the good. We're not really putting up with any subpar experience. The interesting thing is that for the first time, also, this has reached the boardroom. As IBM, we are running a large survey every year. It's called the C-Level Study. We ask about 5,000 C-level executives around the world. What are their priorities? What's up on their agenda, what keeps them up at night, basically. And for the first time, 2021, 2/3, 60% told us, I really see customer experience as my highest priority. And that might come as a surprise to all of us, because we at OMR, it's all about marketing, it's all about experience. But if we look at all the companies out there, we're looking not only at really cool startups and digital companies, we're looking at automotive, we're looking at machinery, we're looking at chemicals, we're looking at all these companies. And we have a very broad mix of people deciding on these things. And for the first time, it really hit home. I think we should invest in it. It really is a top management priority, meaning budgets are being freed up for this. We feel that as an agency, as a consultancy, a lot of new, bigger projects are coming. And we also see that the nature of the project is really getting bigger. Because what is happening is, in the past, we were often asked, can you help us launch a new store? Can you help us revamp our web presence? Can you help us build this new app? Can you help us succeed on social media? And a lot of that stuff was isolated and not really thought as one coherent thing, as really pieces of a big puzzle, as really an end-to-end transformation. And that is changing. And we're seeing people we talk to, clients coming to us really say, I want you to consider the big picture, and I want you to tell me how these different things fit together, and how from the very start of the first interaction, somebody's seeing an ad on social media, all the way to my call center, if after all these stages in usage somebody's calling, that it's one coherent thing. And that is really changing. And quite honestly, I could probably stop right now and say, well, obviously experience is important, customers want it, the boardroom has understood it's important, why don't we just do it? Because it's freaking complex on a lot of different levels. We're having increasingly complex journeys, and we will hear some more about this later on. If we just look at simple act of buying a car, or maybe it's not so simple, that now involves around 1,000 digital interactions. You go to the website, you go to YouTube, look at some videos on the new car you might be considering, you go to the car configurator, you go to the competitor's website, you go to the dealership, you go back onto the web, look at something, you look at user reviews. It's 1,000 different touch points for that purchase. And obviously, it's a lot of different touch points. You have to orchestrate these touch points and make sure it's a coherent journey. It's a lot of different formats, metrics, platforms you got to deal with. And that means you have a lot of difficulty and complexity in terms of technology and the stack you're building up. Also, something we'll hear about later. It may be most important of all, and almost hardest of all, is the internal alignment you have in your organization. Because you have to bring together not just the product guys, the service guys, you have to bring together marketing, sales, service, you have to bring them together with your IT department, with your digital guys, and you really have to make this all work, and that is complex. So where to start? What should you do? It doesn't seem to be so easy. Honestly, in our view, one of the most important things, if you're not working at a digital company that maybe was born digitally and you're a startup and everything is built around your core processes and you just build everything from scratch. You usually have a lot of legacy, you have these departments, all that stuff, and you have to consider the cultural change that is involved in becoming a really experience-driven company. Let's look at the prototypical German industry, automotive. I think we're all somehow connected to automotive. Either clients or automotive, you drive an automobile, somebody you know works in automotive. They say that every 5th to 7th workplace in Germany is connected to the auto industry. So it's always a very good example. Looking at the car business, a lot of things are changing. Usually, car companies thought in these long product cycles, 5 to 7 years. At Volkswagen, it's 7 years before a new car comes out. They plan it, they build it, they conceptualize it for 7 years. Now it's down to weeks. The new feature needs to be shipped in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks. Competitor has something out, we got to get faster. It used to be about units sold. Now it is about active users. Your monthly active users, daily active users, how we are basically reaching the people you want to reach. It used to be all about perfection and engineering and finding the perfect product market fit, finding that. Now it's really about user centricity, solving problems, not only in the car and around vehicle things, but really digging deep into what do people actually want to do. They want to go from A to B. How can I help? What kind of services can I build? And last but not least, you're operating in a very different market with very different competitors. And that also requires, and this is really hard to do for a lot of our clients, especially from the older industries, of thinking outside of their category, of not just thinking, okay, I know these are the 4 or 5 other companies doing exactly what I do, and they're a little bit better here, and they're a little bit less good there, but really looking at the digital leaders as well and thinking, what can I learn from Amazon? What can I learn from PayPal? How are they solving specific problems? How are they dealing with certain transactions? And how can I translate that into my thing? Seems easy. For many people, it's really hard to do because traditionally they're just looking in their own category, in their own industry. Also super important and often misunderstood is it's all about empowering your employees. Because behind every great customer experience are empowered employees with the right tools. One example, we work for a telco company, and the customer service rep, as you call him or her, and basically you have a problem, you want to change your data volume, you want to get into a headset, you want to get into a device, whatever, they had to look up your data, your plan, the stuff they know about you in 7 different databases. And that really, you as a customer, you felt that. Like the other person on the phone is juggling all these different interfaces, and I got to look this up here, and I got to transfer this here, and it takes time, and it's not cool. We lifted and shifted that onto a new CRM system. Now it's one database, everything is there, and they're so much faster, they're so much happier, and they have so much more time to deliver a great experience. So really think employees when you think customer, because those are the people who deliver these great experiences. Last but not least, it's a lot about building that capability of being empathetic, to customers, solving their problems over time. Usually large companies cannot just do this from today to tomorrow. They have to build out use case by use case, feature by feature, market by market, and really learn from successes and from failures and build this out slowly. What we're seeing with these larger projects is that suddenly steering this and governing this becomes really important. Because in the older days, 2.5 years ago, when people came and say, I want this new app, I want this new website, I need a new shop, you just put a team on it. 5 to 12 people building that in isolation. Now it's really about you have several of these teams running, and they got to talk to each other. And they got to think smartly about how this all connects to your legacy systems, to the bigger picture. And you need something like an experience board, some kind of governance structure, giving a framework, giving direction. We have seen this probably from the 90s on in brand management. There's now really solid governance structures. And what we're seeing now, that companies are building out the same kind of robust processes, strategic hirings, funding, priority schemes in experience, and we think this is really good and really valuable. Also very important to know where you stand. We run a lot of diagnostics with our clients, with our own proprietary technology, with partners like Medallia, Quantometrics, to really understand, and not just from, I think we are good or we're not so good, to really dig deep. Where are the pain points? Where are journeys broken? Where's the technology foundation not in place as it should be? And then really start from there and build out from a large vision and then work backwards to the technology. And don't start with the technology. Start with that cultural thinking. How can I shift my organization to a more empathetic, to a more user-driven company, and really then work through what do I need to do that, and we will hear about this later. And last but not least, if ever in doubt, what should I do in terms of my experience, just think, if my customer were here, what would she do, what would she want, what would she say to what I'm delivering here, and if she wouldn't approve, I shouldn't be doing it, and if she says that's what I want, then you should be doing it. Thank you very much. Oh, so nice. May I already sit down?
As you like. So thank you very much, Jan. So let me ask a few questions here, and also you invited to come up with questions.
This is a funky sofa.
Yeah.
Floating here.
Yeah. Okay. Be careful.
I am.
Maybe we can give that away as a prize at the end. But anyway, so
you can definitely carry this.
So Jan, tell me about your last best experience.
Oh. I actually had one yesterday. I was in Düsseldorf, as you quickly mentioned, and I'm always using these rental bikes, basically Call a Bike or Next Bike. I actually love Next Bike. I think the app is better. And I basically went to our office, left the car outside, the bike outside, and then didn't realize, and the app at that point didn't tell me, I didn't look at it, that I obviously was outside of their rental area. And in the evening, I got an email saying, hey, well, you parked this outside. That's 20 euros because we got to collect the bike. But they said, we'll let it go. It's the first time in this city. I've actually done it in other cities. And I thought it was so cool. Instead of collecting that money, just letting me off the hook, I actually took that message home. I'm not going to park it there again, right in front of the office. I thought that was cool because it was not technology driven. It was a nice gesture, like you might not have noticed. Cool, we don't rip you off here. And I had the similar experience with Call a Bike just a week earlier, and they charged me fully for it.
Okay.
So I thought that was good, that was thoughtful. Maybe that's more on the brand side, on an interaction side, but I think that was cool. It was a good experience.
Okay, yeah,
I'll take
good.
their
So
rides
that was Next
again.
Bike, you said, right?
Next Bike, yeah.
Next Bike,
All
okay.
do Next Bikes. It's cool. It's really good.
Okay, so maybe something that we can also all relay on, everyone who's in experience, sometimes we have difficulties convince the upper management to invest more in experience design. Any thoughts, any ideas how we can convince the upper management to invest more in this field?
Good thing is, as we just saw, people are understanding this more and more, even in companies that are not fully digital. They're more in older industries, and they're getting it. So the convincing part is less and less necessary. At the same time, I think it's really starting with smaller prototypes and showing them what can be achieved with a pilot in a certain business unit, build something really quickly in 8 weeks, first prototype of a service, and show them what can be achieved, have a good business case behind it, show if we scale this up, basically across business lines, across geographies, this is what you could achieve. Seeing is believing, and much more powerful than slideware.
Okay, good. Thank you very much, Jan. Any questions from the audience on this topic? No questions?
Tell me now, because I have to put on the headphones, otherwise I can't hear you.
Don't sleep on the sofa, Jan,
Oh, yeah,
while
no, not yet.
the show is going on. So before we welcome our next guest, you know, we're in a late night show, we do a bit quick commercial break. After the break, I welcome two more guests here on stage. It's about the design and also the tech part of experience design. And we will also do some practical exercise, as mentioned. So stay tuned and seated for the next 1 minute 30. I cannot hear the music, so I hope the trailer is over. So anyway, so welcome back to our late night show after the commercial break. With my guest here, Jan from Berlin, on the sofa. We also have now our new next guest coming up. She's originally from the US, but now part of our UX design team in Düsseldorf. She started as a web designer at the Advertising Specialty Institute in the US and joined our team just in 2019. She's an associate design director and will tell us about the design process for great experiences. Welcome on stage, Hannah Greenolk. Yeah, I think the music is playing. I'm not sure, but yeah.
Cute. I think I just have to wait till the animation ends. Anyway, hello everyone. Yes, my name is Hannah. I am a experienced designer, and yeah, so the first time speaking in front of people since my sister's wedding. It's been all virtual, so we'll see how this goes. Hopefully I don't cry. Anyway, I'm here today to tell you how to elevate experiences by thinking with a journey first. Now, let's start with a little fact. 88% of customers confirmed that the experience is just as important as a brand or the product itself. And something that our senior vice president had once said was the best experience that anyone has anywhere has now become the minimum expectation for the experience that they want everywhere. Now, what this means is we might not exactly know what that experience is, because this is all very much the personal experience of someone, right? So we don't know what we're comparing quite against, which makes it even more complicated, right? So designing digital experiences is becoming more and more complex. There's fragmented touch points everywhere. We're coming up with new devices, new technologies, and always advancing when it comes to the different services and processes that might be involved. And as you can see, it gets a little bit difficult not to get lost in all that complexity. This is why we have to start shifting our mindset from being more solution-oriented to focusing more on the holistic journey. What exactly is that user or that customer going through? How are they getting to my solution? How are they leaving the solution? What happens? So in order for us to all begin shifting to this mindset, I want to do a little design thinking exercise with you all. We'll see how it goes. Underneath your chairs, you should have colored paper and a pen. And in a moment, I'm going to give you a minute to draw something. And now don't worry about it being perfect. It's not a competition. Nobody's going to win something for having the best drawing. But the whole point is just to see how you think about the problem that I put in front of you, okay? Are there any questions before we get started? We need a pen back here. Pen, pen, pen. All right. Pen? Pen back here? Okay. Super. All right, and I actually need
Also, some people in the back, I think they need some stuff here. So let me
Can I have a set of headphones? Nee.
Are you ready?
So I can hear the timer. Okay.
You need a pen too?
Yes.
Okay, what about you? Pen
Right.
too.
All right.
Here, I need the pen.
Are we all
Ina.
set?
These two ladies, please also need pens.
Okay. So the activity is design a bridge. You have 1 minute and the music will tell you when the time is up. So ready, set, go. Oops. The music's not playing?
No.
Okay, I will count.
Need time to think about it. Also, Jan is doing some artworks here. Can you repeat the challenge?
The challenge is to design a bridge.
Now music.
All right. You have a little more than a minute this time.
Oh, wonderful. I really see some artwork. So next time we put that at the Banksy somewhere.
Wow.
Don't cheat.
Okay. All right, let's stop it there. Time is up. Except the music's still playing. We have to pause it, sorry guys. Okay, now. So, everyone, would you mind raising up your drawings so I can see them? I would love to see your designs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Oh,
we've got
wow.
some
What is
Golden
this
Gate
here?
bridges. We've got some, yes, some cliffs, some rivers, some brick bridges. I love it.
I
A
see
to
almost some
B,
technical
yes.
construction
Great.
here.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Let
Okay, now keep that piece of paper, but set it to the side, set it somewhere safe. You're going to use a new piece of paper next, okay? But before we go into the next design challenge, got too many things in my hands. Before we go into the next design challenge, I'm going to introduce to you Anna. So, Anna is 10 years old. She's very adventurous, very creative, and she has a great imagination. She likes to spend a lot of time with her friends out in nature. And when she's out with her friends in nature in the parks, you can oftentimes hear them all making music together. So she also really likes music. Now, even though Anna is very, very adventurous and courageous and independent, actually, she's also very afraid of heights. Now, you have a new design challenge. In a minute, rather than designing a bridge, design a way for Anna to cross a river so she can meet new friends. And start the music. Minute, go. There we go. All right, good going.
Haha, haha. It's a tougher challenge, right? Yeah.
would everyone mind showing me your beautiful designs?
Oh
Let's
wow, look at
see.
this, a
Oh, we got
balloon.
some
What is this?
hopscotch
This looks
stones.
like a
We got
virtual in the
sailboat.
metaverse. She's moving.
Ah,
Oh, I
nice.
see.
Okay, it looks like one of those jungle gym things that you climb across. Nice.
Okay,
Sailboats.
stepstones.
Yes, under the ground.
What
Okay.
is this?
Interesting. Interesting.
Oh, okay. Also
Cool.
nice.
Ah, hot air balloon. That's a good idea. Ah, some music as we step across. I like it. Great. Cool. Balance beam. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Hey, before we start, let's move on. Give yourself another hand.
Great job,
Thank you.
everyone. Great job. All right.
Let me show you.
So, notice something about when you had that first problem, you designed specifically a bridge, right? The focus was very much on a solution. Whereas when we switched to more of a focus on experience, we had things like sailboats going underground, bridges that make music as we run across. So really what we need to think about when we start thinking about the experience as a whole is we need to look at the actual problems and challenges of the people themselves, and we need to imagine what their entire process and experience around this might look like, and not design a bridge, right? And now let me put it this way though, because Anna is kind of like our persona, but I don't want you to misunderstand me here. It's not like the socio-demographic personas that you're used to in marketing. It's not enough to create a good experience just from those. You need real users, real people. You need to do the legwork and you need to do the research to understand who you're creating for. And then to actually create the nice experience, you have 3 different pillars, right? You have usability, you have user experience, and you have customer experience. Let's start with usability. So 70% of businesses that fail do so because of bad usability. Usability is, obviously about how usable is the tool. So for us at IBM, the way we are designing better usability is to use user flows to actually identify each step of a specific transaction, or a specific interaction, sorry. And by doing this, we're able to see the specific pain points that might exist, or specific opportunities that might exist within that user flow. Additionally, we're able to test this with actual users. Like in this case, we did this for Fressnapf, and we did not make this in a silo. We ended up using often feedback from our users themselves. We incorporated them into the design process. Whenever we created a flow, we were able to do usability tests starting from the user flow itself. And by doing this, we were able to create a device or a solution for their internal employees to be able to manage products on the floor in a way that actually fits to their way of working. Additionally, user flows are also great for not only just usability, but also for aligning developers and designers. By creating a user flow, it's much clearer where the information architecture is happening. So it's easier for developers to understand the concept, and it's easier for designers to explain the concept going forward. And by having this as an actual deliverable, we have it always living, like a living document in a way, so we can always refer to it in the future. Now, as we look into the impact of user experience, 88% of online customers say they would not return to a website if it has bad user experience. Now, user experience, in order to create a better user experience, we need to think in user journeys, right? So it's not just about, let's look at the specific problem, we need to look at the entire journey as a whole. So a user journey is all about the different touch points of where a user is going through the entire product that you're using. And it's not just incorporating on the product itself, but it's also looking at before and after. What are they doing to get into your product, and what are they doing to leave your product, and how are they being incorporated going forward after they leave? In this example, we built our user journey not in a silo again, not without customers themselves. So here we actually went on site and shadowed the different industrial workers to understand exactly what their as-is scenario looks like. And by doing this, it helps us to highlight exactly what opportunities and what pain points are actually existing with these technical workers. And then once we left the shadowing experience, we were able to come together with stakeholders as well as sponsor users, who would be sort of just another one of the people that we had interviewed, who we are incorporating into the design process as a whole. And we are able to then map out what the future user journey should look like, so what that 2B scenario should look like. Now, the user journey isn't only useful, again, for the user itself, for creating a good user experience. It's also extremely valuable for our internal teams. Our internal teams are then able to take these user journeys and break them down into smaller stories. They're able to prioritize those stories and fill the backlog. And by prioritizing them, they're able to prioritize with the actual user needs, the business focus, as well as the feasibility. So, as we move out from user journeys themselves and user experience itself, we get into a bigger picture even further, right? So this is where we then go into the customer experience, because as we've learned, there's way more at play than just the customer itself. So 85% of customers actually crave a cohesive experience and interactions across all departments of a company. And yet 60% of customers would say that they're communicating with different departments and not one single company. And that's a problem when it comes to the customer experience. It means that a company is still working in silos. It's creating these different experiences that aren't so nice for an end user itself. That said, when we think about the customer experience, we can take a look at how organizations are using customer journeys as a way to increase the customer experience itself. So a customer journey itself encapsulates not only the user journey and those interactions that a user is going on to, but it's also focusing on the typical sales and marketing funnel that you might experience. So from awareness to acquisition to continued engagement. And, excuse me. And when we look at this, we're able to then map, along with the user journey, the actual journey and processes that would come into play from the business itself. So we have the different touch points that you might have from sales, from customer service. You might also have the different touch points in terms of the processes that are going along with technology. And from a customer journey, we are able to then map out exactly all of these data points and understand the actual connections between these different teams and different processes themselves. In the example here, we designed an app for Barmer. Barmer is a healthcare company, and what we had assisted them with was creating a new design system. And believe it or not, a design system really supports the goal of a cohesive customer experience. So Barmer had different touch points everywhere, different digital touch points. You had a bonus program, you had a different care app, you had an ID and inbox, but we synergized everything into one place. And what this meant was it actually increased the speed of design by 60%, and it increased the speed of development by 43%. So what we can learn from the Barmer Care app is that when we create a better user experience, we also create a better employee experience, something that Jan had mentioned earlier. Not only with customer journeys can we make a better customer experience overall, but we can also start to map our technologies from this. So by building a customer experience, it directly translates into the data point, touch points, and the data information that we would need then to create sort of what you would call a service blueprint. And from this, we can continue to develop and design what technologies we need to use, what teams we are incorporating, and how exactly everything is fitting together. But at the heart of everything is always the people. So we have the employees, we have the different stakeholders involved, and as always, we have the customer themselves, because in the end, the customer will always decide whether or not they want to continue with your experience that you design. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your help. Thank you, Anna. Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Very bouncy.
But even, at least it's a little better with you here on the sofa, both of you on the sofa now. Thank you for the presentation, Hannah. I have also some questions for you. So, what is the biggest mistake you can make when designing a user experience?
Yeah. I would say the biggest mistake you can make, and I think this is probably a known one for everyone, is to not include the customers themselves, to not actually do the research, to make that assumption that the stakeholders within a company know the customers. And I'm sure that they do know the customers, but the problem is by doing that, you have a really big risk of not designing something that's actually useful in the end for the customer.
Okay, thank you. And another one is maybe you can give us a good example of a client to do it well.
A client who does it well. Yes. So, I can't name the client though off the top of my
Okay,
head.
just name the industry.
Or I'm not
maybe
allowed to
then.
name it.
Yeah.
I would say the car industry does a really good job in general, because there's a lot of high priority on understanding exactly what's motivating a user to purchase vehicles, and also what exactly is needed for the vehicle itself. So not only is this digital experience being always considered from the customer point of view, but it's also considering, okay, what does the space in the actual car itself look like, and who are we designing for? Is it someone who is a speed demon and wants to go very, very fast, in which case we're not going to give them a minivan. And same with the opposite. So I think that the car industry in general is doing quite a good job
Okay,
with this.
thank you. Any questions from the audience on this topic? No questions? Okay, good. Another hand of applause, please,
Thank you.
for Hannah. Thank you. So after this refreshing interactive session, we continue with another important topic, the technology that enables and powers the digital experience. But before we move on, we go for another short commercial break. And after the break, we will continue with my next guest.
After last week's unpleasantness, I thought maybe this week we might try to listen more and throw things less. Maybe not at all.
I've apologized several times.
So, who wants to share first? What about you?
Okay. I mean, I'm a sinister, world-conquering, artificially intelligent robot.
Me too. And one day I wake up and it's like the world doesn't need us anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Now, I want to know if that is you speaking or your mother.
I don't have a mother. I was manufactured.
Yeah, me too, man.
I can hear you hurting.
Wait, what's he doing here?
Hello. My name is Watson.
I invite Watson here today to confront the source of our anxiety. So, Watson, why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
I am a cognitive system. I can understand, reason, and learn with humans.
With humans.
I don't want to work with humans.
Yeah, that's not what I'm passionate about.
I just wanted dust.
Oof, this guy.
I'm also using weather data to help
The
predict.
temperature is 49 degrees.
Watson, why don't you continue?
I understand 7 languages. I can help people collaborate.
Collaborate? We
All
dominate.
my evil plans ruined.
I just wanted dust.
Rerouting.
No.
All right. Why don't we take a break? All right, we'll just have some coffee and some donuts.
I'm eating my feelings.
Okay, so welcome back to our IBM iX Late Night Show. Good to have you. Thanks for staying here with us for my next guest who's coming up now. She's rather new in our IBM iX team. She has Italian roots, lived in London for many years, moved to Berlin 10 years ago. She's working at the intersection of technology, digital transformation, and innovation, and has previously worked with big clients like Coca-Cola, Nokia, and Apple. Welcome on stage, our Senior Director, Digital Transformation, Gabriela Zayer.
Yes, hi everyone. Can you hear me okay? Excellent, excellent. Very happy to be here. Always great to be a last speaker on the last slot on the last day, so great to be here. I get to talk about experience, but I'm looking at it through the lens of technology people and data. And really, I should be saying people, technology, and data, because like we heard, nothing is going to work without the right people and the right skills. That's it. That's my title slide. Experience enabled by people, technology, and data. Now, we have heard it from Jan, we've heard it from Hannah. Delivering a compelling digital experience is complex, and indeed, the speed of change, mostly accelerated through technology, is really enhancing this complexity. So if I would sum this slide up, I would say we have more of everything. More data, more complexity, more challenges, more teams collaborating, more need to collaborate, so more of everything. And what is happening is that as technology is accelerating and moving a lot faster, then the way businesses can change, we are creating an experience gap. And this experience gap is actually where brands and organizations really have a challenge to meet the demand of the expectations of their customers, their consumers, their users. So, technology to the rescue. Those of you in the MarTech space, and anyone raising their hand? Who's a MarTech fan? Who's seen this before? No? Oh, perfect, excellent. Great, so this one has just been released 2 weeks ago, so it's kind of hot off the press. It's the marketing landscape that is produced about every 2 years by a group of people. There is a guy called Scott Brinker. He's kind of considered the godfather of MarTech, marketing technology. And this fabulous, very complex, very full-looking landscape has just been released 2 weeks ago and now has 9,932 tools in it, covering 49 categories. And this is kind of, I think, a visually beautiful way to show how complex and how fast moving and accelerating this space really is. What's very interesting here is that the categories of content and experience, commerce and sales, and management, those were the ones that were growing the fastest compared to the last time this landscape was created. Indeed, overall, the landscape grew by 24%, so a huge acceleration overall anyway over 2 years. But those three categories grew the fastest since then. And what is interesting is that content and experience, commerce and sales, those are the categories which enable experience. So those are the ones that allow brands, organizations, enterprises to really accelerate and improve their experience. So really, it's not a surprise, as we have heard that what Jan mentioned, you know, also experience, being an experienced leader is now on top of agenda for CEOs even. And we see that reflected in the technology landscape as well. That's where people build, invest, new technologies. Management is an interesting one. We believe that it's the new way of working. So we've all been sitting more or less at home, working from home for the past 2 years. And under management, we have all of these tools that we use to collaborate better and more efficiently. So technology to the rescue. And again, we have heard this, we never start with technology, even though I stand here and talk about technology, but we never start with technology because no customer ever has said, it doesn't work, but technically it does, so that's great. No one says that, ever. So for all of you, we always start with the business problem. We break it down into, for example, a MarTech goal and a use case, and then we look for the right technology. And I heard a fabulous quote yesterday which said, and then put yourself in the shoes of your data and start walking the journey of your data to figure out kind of how to find the right solution. But obviously, it is about the user first. Now, let's break it down. So a couple of suggestions what organizations, enterprises should be doing right now, and then a couple of thoughts on where we believe organizations should start investing in. You've seen the complexity of the MarTech stack, for example. So now really is the time to get your house in order to deliver these personalized, scalable experiences that your employees and your users want. So how do you do that? Well, one step is to be ready for data-driven personalization. And you start the process, for example, at the bottom through targeted ad tech. You then go to MarTech, for example, And all of this is enabled by a CDP, a customer data platform, because the CDP allows you to have a single central view of your customer. So even if you have some offline channels and some online channels, a central view of the customer is crucial to deliver a connected, scalable, personalized experience. A second, well, really, it's not even a suggestion, it's really a must-do, is to assess your stack. Now, this is your architecture stack, your MarTech stack. It's the architecture that your business runs on. So assess your stack and make the most out of your investment, because look at this number: 42% of the MarTech stack, the marketing technology stack, is unused. Now, this number is shocking. This basically means we are paying a lot of money, and we're just using slightly over half of what we've bought for. Now, for those marketeers in the room that are charged with making a business case, this is a shocking number. And this is something, if our management sees that, if our CEO sees that, they're going to say, "Oi, listen, you put in a business case, you told me you need this, we invested all the money, and now 42% are unused." So do start using what you purchased. It's there already, no additional cost. Look at it, figure out what use cases you can embed, and start using it. Now, obviously, it's not as simple as that, because there's probably a reason why you're not using it. And one of the main reasons is that we don't have the skills in our teams, right? We don't have the skills. We don't have the knowledge of the platform. We don't have maybe the know-how of actually what good looks like, right? We need to understand what is a great journey, what is a great use case. Other challenges that we see actually in our clients are that there's a lot of silos. Hannah mentioned this before. There's a lot of silos still in organizations, and we need to break these down to create, consistent end-to-end transformation across the business, and certainly also in marketing. So, do help your teams. Insist with your leadership that you need cross-functional teams so that you can solve problems end-to-end, and that will really drive the experience. And use more of your MarTech stack, which is really, this is a shocking number. The last point that you should be doing right now is actually look at the architecture. Now, we mentioned it before, everything we do runs on technology, right? I mean, everything in the digital space certainly runs on technology. And what you see here is the IBM iX reference architecture, which is basically our blueprint, where we go out and say, well, this is how a best-in-class example could look like. Everybody has a different business. Everybody has different needs. Everybody has different challenges. So your stack, your architecture stack, will look slightly different. But what is interesting about this one here is that it is a API-first microservices-enabled stack. We have 2 API meshes. One is about the experience layer, and one is about the back-end integration, which basically makes a picture like this, an architecture stack like this, future-proofed. It is really flexible, it's future-proofed, and it focuses on experience, on delivering experience. And whatever the future brings, new channels, new tools, you can see on the right here, we have crypto integrated, NFT, whatever it is, this is a architecture that allows you to be flexible and open and opt in. What's important, do we have any architects in here? Any system architects? No, I didn't think so, so don't you worry. What is important as business people, as marketeers, as digital people, it's our job to define the requirements of what we need. So what are our business requirements that we need to pass on to our IT colleagues so that they can fix the stack for us? So they need to know what we need for them to be able to do this. So let's help each other. The future, AI and automation. We see that AI and automation are areas of huge invest. We've done, there was a survey done to CEOs by IDC, and the feedback from the CEOs was that their biggest challenge is that their digital transformation strategy is not executing as well as they would like, because there's some gaps. And these gaps are mostly around the skills. The skills of the people, they're around cybersecurity, and they are around the fact that they cannot scale, so the automation piece. we all know this. We are in a journey already with AI and automation, and the future is probably going to come a lot faster than we expect. We've seen it with the Watson video as well. But we believe the future to be fluid, contextual, self-taught, provocative, and emotional. So really, we are already on a journey, and everybody here should start thinking about how we can embed AI and automation more into our use cases. I brought one other study with me. This is a study by IBM Global AI Adoption Index. It's just come out. Again, I'm very lucky that everything's hot off the press. This is literally a week old, I believe. And you can see here some of the use cases where AI is already integrated across the enterprise. So you see the use cases. These are global numbers, so they're average. Global adoption of AI is growing steadily. Indeed, we saw that 35% are already saying, yes, we're using them across the enterprise globally. And that is a rise of 4 points since last year, which might not seem a huge amount, but it's a steady growth. But there's still obviously a lot of work to be done. And interesting enough, the biggest challenges around enabling or using more AI and automation in the enterprise are actually around automation and skills. So again, the people factor, the skills factor is actually holding us back. Like the CEO survey said, they have a gap in their digital transformation execution strategy. Under point number one, it's interesting as well because automation and AI actually solve this problem themselves. So we don't have the skills, but if you automate it, you don't need the skills. So it's an interesting fact. Then trustworthy AI. Now, all of us, if I'm told do this because the AI said this, I'm going to say, hold on. What's the data behind this? Why am I told to drive to the right, but I've always been driving to the left? Why suddenly is this car telling me to drive to the right? So trustworthy AI, we need to all ensure that the data and the facts are more trustworthy. Data ethics is a new field, so it's a bit of a challenge. We don't have enough people yet in that field. And obviously biases, subconscious biases, that's a real challenge in that field. And the last point, AI really is seen as an enabler for making business sustainable, really about tracking where does this data come from, scaling it, and sustainability, as we all know, together with digitization, is a key priority of all the agendas of CEOs. My second last slide. So what should we all be doing? Invest in the future. This is not something we can do alone. So this is always a ecosystem play. Find the right partners, work together across your organizations, inside and out, and really start thinking about use cases and journeys you can automate. Point number two, there's a lot of good frameworks, also from IBM. They're free. So go and check out the Watson website. There's some frameworks there that really help you with your journey. And you can really figure out, is your AI robust, fair? Is it explainable? Is there governance? And then scale it. Don't just build proof of concepts. Try and scale it and then learn from it. And the last one is indeed sustainability. Build models that are ESG friendly, so sustainable and reusable and actionable. And I leave with this slide, and you've heard it from all of my colleagues, the top roadblocks for success are human factors. It's about the culture, it's about the resource, the data literacy, and the skills. So a big kind of push, everybody, we need to start ramping up, we need to start increasing our skills. So let's do it together, and let's create a sustainable future for businesses and for society at large. Thank you.
Gabi.
Yes.
Thank you, Gabi. These two have fun on the sofa. Why don't you stay there?
I just take the question standing, and then I...
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea. So thank you for the presentation. So what are the latest trends in digital marketing and MarTech? So besides maybe what we see, or maybe in addition to this?
Yeah, I mean, online, so e-commerce continues to grow, right? I'm sure many of you are working in e-commerce here. Again, I've seen some stats recently where by 2030, we expect e-commerce in Europe, just these are European figures, to grow between 18 and 30%. So, whatever you do, make sure your experiences online, make sure your checkout process, make sure it's super easy, super streamlined. I mean, Hannah explained really well kind of what's important there, but that's it. Focus on your kind of online channels, on your e-commerce channels, and obviously now there's social commerce happening. Who knows what the metaverse brings, right? I mean, there's all these promises. Let's see, but that's certainly one. Don't neglect your offline channels. So for example, we have some clients, they work in both worlds, so it's a hybrid model. So again, make sure you connect online and offline for a seamless, frictionless experience. So do both, especially because Gen Z, which is after the millennials, we now have Gen Z. Because especially those guys, they really want to do both. They want to shop in a physical world, get the experience, but then also continue, if relevant, online.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Another hand, please. And now you can try to take. Maybe you can also take this. Take this one. So now it's time for the quiz. So I ask you to pull out your smartphones. By the way, what kind of prizes do we have, Tina? Can we see them? While you are, scanning the QR code, we'll bring you on the Kahoot landing page where you can find the quiz. So actually, our first prize, so the best answer will get this very nice camera here. Even though it's not a digital camera, it's still nice. Oh, the QR code again?
Oh. Just enter kahoot.it.
You can also enter Kahoot, Kahoot.it, and then you enter the code here, the game pin. So we wait before everyone has it, while I'm bringing up the other prizes. So the second prize is, I know it's a bit warm here, but however, this is a very nice hoodie, Nike's hoodie. We all have that here. It's pretty warm. It's very good quality, eco-friendly cotton. You can wear it in the winter too, by the way. So, and then we have this surprise package here, surprise summer package with what is this here? Picnic, carpet, some chain rings. Oh, we have a lot of those as well. So these are the prizes. So is everyone on? Oh, you have, I just wanted to ask you to please put in your real names, because otherwise it will be hard to identify the winner at the end. So let me see who we have. We have Johannes, we have Bond. I assume it's James, so he might have some benefits in the game. We have Mate, Svenja, Milo. Okay, so you're all in, everyone? Still figuring it out? Okay, should we bring up the Kahoot.it, and this is the game pin. Good. Okay, so some of you may have taken notes, but it was a short and crisp presentation from my client. So first question. Is it up here? Yeah, this is not the question, but now it's coming up. I read it to you too. So, what percentage of customers rate experience as important as the product or service? Is it 20? Is it 22? Is it 80? What is it? 88? Or the answer is always 42? Okay. 26 answers. And time is over. Okay. Ooh, wow. Okay, we still have a few people that think 42 is right. One answer is 22. Not that bad, at least. Okay, good. So let's have a look on the range of people. Okay. Yan Ye Chiang is leading with 937. That's good. Right after we have Mate. Then we have Zuse, Alba, and Krishan. Okay, everything close by. This can change. Next question. Which specific methodology is very useful when designing a customer experience? First answer, Scrum. Second, design thinking. A/B testing, or cart sorting. That's a difficult one. But we all did something that is listed here when we used the paper. Okay, yeah, also looks good. Design thinking is correct. We have 3 people doing A/B testing. A/B testing is not bad. I don't want to say that, but not in the designing process right in the beginning. So, okay, we have still Yan Ye Chiang leading. Then we have Christian. He's coming up. I think from the 5th place, Johannes is he new in the ranking? That's you? Okay, I see. Then we have Jo and Svea. Okay, good. So, next one. We have 3 more to go. What is the correct abbreviation for the technology that is recently becoming more and more relevant for creating 360-degree customer view? OMR, IBM, CDP, ASAP. Yeah, we had that on the slide just a few minutes ago. Time is over. Okay. Okay, yeah, IBM. Yeah, yeah, we have some IBM fans here in the audience. I like it. Yeah, some people still ask me what IBM is standing for, but that's another question. Okay, oh, now it's getting quite hectic now. So what is the name of the IBM world famous AI? Is it Holmes? Is it Watson? Is it Columbo? Or is it Marple? Okay, time is running. Oh, wow, okay, that was quick. Okay, we have some Agatha Christie fans in the audience too. That's also nice. And we come to the last question. Oh no, let's have a look here first. Oh, where's Yen Ye Chiang now? Okay, so we have Christian coming up. Max is now on the 2nd place. Mystery, Yo, followed by, okay, what is this? Pip old chap. Okay, good. So let's see if Pip is still good at question number 5. What is a bridge over troubled water? A great experience for Anna. A song by Simon and Garfunkel. Both. What is the right answer, by the way? I don't know. Okay, this is not my question. So 3, 2, 1, 0. Here we go. Oh, okay. Here, both. But I mean, yeah. A great experience for Anna. You all designed it. Yeah, thank you for the applause. I need another applause for all of you, please. Very good. Okay, so let's see who we have here as the winner. Number 3, Christian. Big hand. Come up, please, on stage. Here we go. We have the surprise package for you. Congratulations. Okay, so. Okay, oh, wow. Now it's, we have number 2 is Mystery. Who is Mystery? Okay, maybe that's the reason why he named herself Mystery. Okay, you know, I have this nice hoodie. I can give it to someone else. Ah, we have Mystery here. Oh, more mysteries. Another mystery. Okay, that's interesting now. No, Mystery. No, you're not Mystery. Okay. So what should we do then with the hoodie? I can keep it.
Who's the fastest on stage?
Who's the fastest on stage for the hoodie? Oh, maybe we should next. Yeah, okay. What size is it, by the way? It's congratulations. Very good performance in raising your hand when I called out someone who's in it. Flo, who is Flo then? Here we have Flo, the winner. Congratulations. So this is a nice takeaway from OMR, I would say. Have fun. Thanks you for joining. Thanks everyone for joining our masterclass today. Also thank you to the speakers here on stage. You can reach out to us, of course, via LinkedIn if you like, or just keep in contact here just right after here with us. If you like what you saw, we are hiring. That's why we are here at OMR. We are looking for talented people who would like to work for us with our clients. And I also wanted, I should ask you to please unplug the headphone and bring it to the exit when you leave. Thank you. Thank you again for joining our masterclass. Have a wonderful evening and hope to see you soon. You can keep that thing if you like.